Hello everybody, welcome back to Bootstrap Workbench. Today we're continuing on with installing some ham radio apps on our Raspberry Pi. So last time we installed ham radio apps using the system repositories, which you can get into an issue where you get old versions. For some apps that's okay, and for some apps it's a lot more important. For instance, with Chirp, and with WSJTX, you want to be using the latest version. So that's what we're going to cover on this video. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure that we have the proper prerequisites in place to be able to get everything installed properly. So to do the Chirp install, we're going to be using a program called PipX, which is almost like a package management, but it's a third party. Very trustworthy. I've been using it for years. So the first thing that we're going to do, of course, anytime we do anything with package management, we're going to do basically an update pull down to make sure that we're using the latest version of the list of applications for the system. So that's going to take just a moment. And once that's done, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a sudo and apt-get, and then install. We're going to make sure we have Python 3-WXGTK 4.0 and PipX. Yeah, and I already had the latest versions here. I've done this install before. So now that we've got that in place, we're going to go and download the file that we need. So we're going to go to the Chirp website. We're going to go to Chirp Next, and we're going to download this Chirp and then whatever version, the WHL file. So let me save link as. I'm in the way, I can't see. There we go. We're just going to save that right there. Cool. So we'll go back over here. And there it is. So let's go ahead and we'll get rid of these older versions of the software here. So we know we just have that single individual version of the file. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're in the same directory that we just put that file in. It got sent to downloads, so we're in the downloads directory. PipX needs to be able to see that WHL file. So now we're going to do a PipX install --system -site -packages, and then // and the name of the file. 2025-08. There we go. Perfect. No slash there. So we'll hit enter. And now PipX is working on installing the application for us. So we'll give that just a moment to get done. If everything works out correctly, it'll tell us. It'll give us an indication of what it's installed and where it put it, and then we can go look. Let's see here. So the package Chirp 2025-0822 was installed. These apps are now globally available: Chirp, Chirp-C, and Expert Tune. So that being the case, let's go take a look and see if we have that version of Chirp here. So we'll just have to wait for it to load. All right, and we'll check our help about. So 2025-0822, that's perfect. Good, so that was pretty easy. Now, let's go ahead and move on to getting WSJTX installed. So I'm going to do a clear, and then we're going to go out to the WSJTX website. And when you're on the part of the page where you can download installation packages, of course, you'll see your Windows packages. That's what most people are familiar with. We're going to go down just a little bit. We're going to look at the Linux packages. So the first two are going to be basically for like Windows PCs, AMD 64, x86 64, sorry, not Windows PCs, but Linux on a PC. Down below, you have your Raspberry Pi packages. So you need to know whether you're using a 32-bit Raspberry Pi package for your OS or whether you're using a 64-bit. Now, if you're using a more modern Raspberry Pi like a Pi 4, like I have, I installed the 64-bit version of the Raspberry Pi OS, so I know that's the package that we're going to need. I already have that package downloaded here. I've actually got both packages. I need the 64-bit one. We do need to get one other thing in place because I had some difficulties here. So with the deb package, you have the option to right-click and do package install. For some reason, I don't know if it's this distro or if it's this version of the distro, that did not work for me when I first tried it. I have always used the GDebi package installer. I prefer that one. It works on a lot of other systems as well. Pretty much anything that's under a Debian base, which includes like Ubuntu and all of its variants, Mint, Raspberry Pi OS, it's all included. So let's go ahead and do a sudo apt get. Now we should do an apt get update, but we just did one. So we don't have to do it again. I'm going to go ahead and do install and GDebi. I've already got it installed in the system, but I'll show you how to do it. And I hit the wrong key. Let's try that again. Here we go. All right. So I do indeed already have it installed. That's fine. So now we can go back to our file window here. And when we right click, we have the GDebi package installer. So when you open the GDebi package installer, it may or may not prompt you to authenticate when you start the install. That's fine. You are going to get this pop-up that says an older version is available in the software channel and that's recommended. Now that's recommended from the sense of maintaining everything under their kind of closed, maintained garden type of system. We do want to make sure we're using the newer version because we want the fixes and the newer features and all of that stuff. So we're going to hit close here. So now we'll hit install package. And there's our authentication prompt. We'll go ahead and authenticate here. All right, moving along. There we go. So if we click on terminal here, we can actually see almost the same thing that we were seeing on the command prompt because this is just basically a front end for that. So we're waiting for everything to finish installing and for it to populate the program into our menus and all of the normal package management stuff. Well, and actually, it's already finished. It says installation finished up here at the top. So we're going to hit close on that. And now, if we look at the GDebi screen, we can see that it says reinstall package and remove package. That's to key you in that the app is installed. And that's exactly what we wanted. That's great. So we're going to close out of all of this stuff. We're going to go back over here. And let's see if I can remember where WSJTX ends up at. There it is. For some reason, it's under sound and video. I'm going to go ahead and open this. And it may take a moment. Let's minimize this down because I saw that we got a pop-up screen. So we did get version 2.7.0. And we'll just go ahead and click that box and tell it to not show us again. So now, as you can see, we have the latest version of WSJTX. Everything is pretty much set up and ready to run. We're good to go there. So that's pretty much going to be it. Yeah. So a little bit later down the road, another episode or two, we're going to cover installing Direwolf. That's a little bit more in-depth, and there's a lot of configuration options for it, and there's a lot of ways to interface it to a radio. So that's going to be something that we'll need to spend a little bit more time on. For today, that's going to be it. If you have any questions, comments, put them down below. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you did like the content, and thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day.